Hey, it's Skell11, and the wind blows hard in December. Here's another LEGO Mech mock, this time of the Amdusias Skell from Xenoblade Chronicles X. If you haven't seen it yet, check out the LEGO Formula Skell I did. You can find that linked in the top right corner, or in the playlist that'll be linked at the end of this video. So, like with the formula, I'll be showing a full 360 view of it, talking about some of the stuff on it, and then I will take all the weapons off to show each part individually. Similar to the formula, this one also has some aspects of another Skell on here. Mainly the head and shoulders are taken from the Inferno instead of the Amdusias. For the head, it's kind of a cross between them because the Amdusias head is just a bit goofy looking and I like the Inferno head better. So I just made it a bit of a cross between them. Instead of the flat Inferno head, I gave it a bit of a tower head similar to the Amdusias, but just not as tall. Then the shoulders, I like the Inferno shoulders better, and the Amdusias shoulders would have been hard to build. So also like the formula, this one has weapons that are taken mostly from in-game weapons, but also with a bit of inspiration from Mobile Suit Gundam. The color scheme of this one is based off of the Gustav Karl mobile suit from Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, and it had a brief appearance in Unicorn also. And then some of the weapons are based off the Kshatriya from Gundam Unicorn. So here we have shoulder-mounted M missiles, the thermal M missiles, machine gun with a grenade launcher attachment, and I used an effect part to make it look like it was firing because I have so many of these from Marvel sets that I have no idea what to do with. Does anyone know what else these could be used for? I don't have any ideas. I have a whole bucket of these things from Marvel sets. Some arm-mounted miniguns, or heavy style miniguns compared to the one that the formula had. The placement of this is based a little more off of the Barbatos Lupus. A railgun. I forget what these are called. I think they were called F grenades. It was like a big thermal missile launcher or something. I barely ever used the weapon in game, so I'm not really sure what it was called or what it did. I just thought it looked really cool, so I added it to this. And just a generic missile pod and an ether missile. And then the main weapon for this thing, based off of the Kshatriya, is beam shields, 2 of them. So based off of both the Kshatriya's wings and the weapon in-game. So I made it move the way that the weapon does in-game. And then the overall design of it, I based more off the Kshatriya. So it has that instead of regular wings, it has these beam shield wings. And over here, a disc bomb. And now here it is without all the weapons. To talk about the build a bit, so I made the formula first. The formula was made over years and years of adjustments and rebuilding in various ways. So when I made this, I reverse engineered the frame of the formula that was not fully accessible because of how the formula was built up. So this one was built from the frame up instead, just copying as much as I could from the formula's frame of what was accessible of it. So because of that, all the armor on this is modular. So unlike the formula, all of the armor on this could be taken off, and if I want to, I could make a different set of armor and make it into a different Skell model by just completely changing all the armor on this. So here you can see how it is with the armor removed. Very simple frame underneath. Probably much more simplified than the Formulas is, because again, this one was built from the frame up, while the Formula was kind of built up around a previously existing frame that was built off of a Bionicle. And even though I don't have any kind of transformation feature on this, because I have no idea how I'd make that work, I did make the treads actually usable. So I made sure if you put it down on the ground, the treads could roll. There's nothing blocking them. So that way it's just a bit more functional, even though it doesn't actually have a transformation feature. And the backpack also comes off. And lastly, look at all the weapons. Most of these are pretty simple. I didn't put a lot of detail into these like I did with the Formulas weapons. So here we have a railgun. Just kind of a generic railgun, not too based on any weapon in the game. The shoulder-mounted missile launchers, missile pods, whatever. These are based off of the M missiles, the thermal kind. The grenade missile launchers. Simple missile pod. Pretty simple, kind of messy looking gun design. I didn't really put much thought into this one. The beam saber is just a bunch of translucent bricks. Then the main weapon for this is the beam shield wings. Since I was basing this also off the Kshatriya from Gundam, I added these in to look kind of like the drone pods that it has. The drone docking spots, whatever. I also added a bunch of blue translucent bricks on this to look like thrusters, since it's also supposed to be the wings. And again, these can move up. And the same thing on the other side. And as you can see, I included a bunch of cannons on the insides of them. So that's it for my Amdusias Skell. I've got some ganglion Skells that are not nearly as dedicated, but I still made a bunch of ganglion Skells for these things to fight. Just a lot more simple looking, so I'll have the ganglion Skells over the next few weeks. If you want to see the Formula Skell that I made, then again, you can check that out in the top right, or look at the LEGO Xenoblade playlist, which also has a bunch of figures of various Xenoblade characters from all the different games. Haven't actually made any X character figures, though. Everything I've made from X has been mechs. But at some point, I want to make an Elma figure, probably. Anyway, if you watch the end, then comment Blossom Dance down below. Or if you're real, comment Ghost Walker, Primer, Ghost Walker, Blossom Dance. So, see you next time.